Hello everyone, this is Money Mom. Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to chat with you guys about it was costing me to go to work. Let's get started and talk about it. Many of you know that I do product demonstrations Thursday through Sunday. I absolutely love doing them, but there for a while I was going kind of further from my home, which required my husband to take me there, and because he didn't want to waste gas, he stayed where I was working and maybe sat at the Starbucks or went to go do some errands and things like that. Well, it was actually costing us a little bit of money, and I figured this out. It would cost us more gas and time, so it would take us about an hour a day of travel time. It would cost us more gas and wear and tear on the car. I also had to pack more food for lunches because he was with me, so I spent more on groceries because most of the time I packed our lunches. Also, because my husband was there, he sometimes would buy things at the Super Target that I probably wouldn't have purchased, so that costs more. And I'm not saying all these things are necessary, but because he was there and he would bring work with him, I would want him to maybe have a Starbucks, so I loaded the Starbucks card, which I would not have done for me because I'm not really drinking Starbucks at this time. So now I'm going to be doing product demonstrations closer to my home. And I figured this out, that it's going to save our family with all of these costs about $100 a month, which is really good. I thought this was an interesting topic because so many of us are told you need 2 incomes to run this household, or you need to have multiple jobs. But sometimes having multiple jobs can end up costing more. And I remember, and you guys know, I love the Tightwad Gazette series, and Michelle talked about this in one of her books because some mothers wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. They said, but we can't do it, we need our income. But when the mothers figured out how much it was costing them to go to work, they figured another way that they could do it so that they could stay home instead of spending all the money. And I'm going to give you an example. I remember several years ago, I thought, okay, I need my husband to work part-time. Well, what ended up happening when he did do that for a while, in addition to what I was doing, is it put us in a higher tax bracket, and every extra amount of money he made went to paying taxes. So you got to think about that. If somebody else is working, it's going to put you in a higher tax bracket, so you're not going to probably make as much as you think you're going to make. That's number one. Number two, extra food for lunches, whether it's packing them or if it is maybe if you buy lunch out. Now, I generally don't buy lunch out, but that can end up costing you. Another thing is if you need an extra vehicle. We just have one vehicle here at this house. But some households is like, well, I need you to go back to work, but we're going to need to get you a used car. It's going to be all the expenses that go into running that vehicle. Child care, if you have a child that needs to go to day school, possibly clothing. Now, they say the average transportation cost is somebody is going to go work an extra job is between $8 and $9 a day. I'm not sure what that all includes, if that's just gas, but that's if you're, traveling any kind of distance. Daycare, the average daycare for one child is $250 a week or $13,000 a year. So the average person without daycare spends approximately around $3,000 a year for, clothing, transportation, lunches. I think it might be higher. But if you take the $13,000 and $3,000, that's $16,000 a year. And so somebody might say, well, I'm a stay-at-home mom, but we can't afford it. And so they go out and get a job making $30,000, but really they're not making that much because they're in the higher tax bracket now and all the extra costs that go along with it. Another thing people may not think about is if they have a child in daycare and their child's not used to being in daycare, I can tell you from teaching, that child may become more ill and catch colds, which makes the mom or father have to stay home with the child, more medical costs and things like that. So I think it's great to make extra money if you're really profiting that, but you do have to think about cost of transportation, clothing, food, child care, car allowances, taxes, like wear and tear on the vehicle, all of that. You got to think about everything about what it's costing you versus what you're making at a profit. Let me know what you guys think. I'd love to have you guys weigh in on this topic. I do think making extra money is great, but if it's going to cost you more, especially in taxes, it may not be worth it. That's all I have to say for now. I love you, I appreciate you, and please come back for tomorrow morning's video. Bye-bye.